Hey there, everybody. I hope you are doing well. I am Afefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. If you're new to the channel, you just landed here. I've been almost for 30 years now, almost 30 years. I've been doing tarot and oracle readings. I am certified. I am also a priestess and gone through a series of initiations in both pagan and African traditions. And in addition to that, professionally in my career, I was a newspaper reporter for many years. So kind of that gives you a vibe for or a sense of how I approach tarot readings. That said, you all, I'm in a get down to business mode today. My Capricorn is coming through because I don't listen to a lot of, these days. I think we're all kind of peeling back on the media. It's certainly mainstream media. And I don't listen to a lot of other readers because I try to stay in my lane and I don't want to let myself get influenced. I respect everybody's work. There's some people that I truly admire, but I also just try, we're all human, and just like we can get into that peer pressure thing. So I try to just keep my guides and you, right? Just try to do my thing. That said, there is something that's niggling me, and my guides have been saying, pay attention. I've been doing, many of my readings, and so many of you have been supportive. I appreciate it. Many of my readings have been that Capricorn reporter part of me, even in spirit, has been like, okay, worst case scenario, if this guy is going to get put into office, you know who I'm talking about. Let's start looking at, let's deal with worst case scenario and start thinking about ways to deal with that, what can be done, blah, 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 blah. Because we got to get through it one way or another. Meanwhile, a lot of people are still feeling like, ain't gonna happen. I don't care what you say, Afefe. You do you, girlfriend, you and your guides. But there's still this sense of there could be some sort of shift, change, disruption, intervention. Perhaps Kamala Harris still can be number 47th president. Wouldn't I love it? But here's what I want to look at today, y'all. We're going to get to it. Electoral College. The states are supposed to certify the election by next Tuesday, December 17th. Interestingly, Wisconsin is already, maybe there are others, but Wisconsin is one state that already had, the Republicans there have filed a lawsuit because Wisconsin state law says that they should certify their elections on December 16th, whereas federal law is requiring certification by the 17th. There's some question around if it's done too early, could that invalidate the electoral votes from Wisconsin? I think it's only like 10 votes, but still, imagine if that were to happen, and perhaps in other states and have a ripple effect. So that got me thinking, okay, wait a minute, this December 17th could turn out to be a really interesting, energetic day. Added to the fact that we've got Mars going retrograde for my astrology folks. We've got Mars going retrograde or has gone retrograde in Leo. What does Leo do? Leo the lion. Courage. What are retrogrades? When things sometimes have to get reviewed, or it's not about going backwards, but it's about maybe assessing something that has happened. What does Mars do? Mars is about aggression, fight the good fight, make it happen, take no prisoners kind of energy. So is there Mars retrograde? Is there a fight over something that has happened in the past? Perhaps November 5th? Let's look at some cards, y'all. There's something happening here. And I don't want to be so forward focused that I'm missing something. So I'm going to pump the brakes for a second and let's just take a look together. Let's go to Spirit and see. Spirit, what is the energy around states certifying the election on December 17th? Will states certify on December 17th? Or will there be some sort of resistance? Please show us. All right, we got the Lovers at the bottom. We have a full moon in Gemini. Lovers represents Gemini. We have a full moon in Gemini coming on December 14th. So on the 17th, that full moon is still pretty full. It's still pretty much in effect. That is also, this is twin energy that can go either way, ruled by Mercury, energy that gets, can be like all over the place. That's interesting. The Star, reversed, death reversed. I don't always read reversals, but they're telling me to leave it like it is for right now. And the is that 9 or 4? A 4 of Pentacles reversed. It will not go smoothly. I can say that much 100%. Because people read reversals different ways. One way that I'm going to suggest we look at this today is a slow down, like being in mud, like just trying to churn it out, and it ain't happening. Four of Pentacles is, for those of you who read tarot, you know that's a card where the feeling is very much like, I got my idea, I got, this is the way it is, holding on, not being able to be agreeable. And with the Star and Death, and almost keeping hope and refusing to end the hopes that so many have had. You all, December 17th might be, we might get some energy from that with these electoral, states casting their certification electoral votes. There's something here where I think Spirit is saying the end is not yet. The end is not yet. Remembering too that death is ruled by Scorpio. Scorpio being co-ruled by Mars and Pluto. Mars again. There's a fight here, and there's a fight to keep people's hopes alive, because the Star is ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius is about philanthropy, about humanity, about positivity and hope, and having hope. There is something that is happening with this claims of, we know, voting machines, big question mark, exclamation point about what was happening with the voting machines around the country, with Musk et al., Starlink, what a for entertainment purposes only. So there's something there, you all. And I'm not, and the Devil. Notice how many major arcana are coming out. For those who do not read tarot, when the idea is, among many readers, is when you start getting a bunch of major arcana, that's Spirit times 3 coming through with messages, right? That's saying the question that we're asking is very important. Spirit is saying, heads up, pay attention. We got the Devil. Now, Devil ruled by a Capricorn. Why? I don't know. I have a problem. Not a problem, but I have to get used to that association with my sign. But the Devil represents temptation. It also can represent a need to attach to something that is false, that is not real. The whole idea of, so there could be allegations of false results is what I'm getting from this. And Knight of Swords will be the messaging that we get behind it. The stories coming out, social media lighting up, even in that case, mainstream media lighting up behind. Whoa, look at what's happening right now, you all. And the Five of Swords, yes. There's conflict on the 17th. It will not go smoothly. That's it. I don't see. Spirit ultimately will, I don't even want to ask this question, but ultimately will the states certify the election in favor of that guy? Ultimately will they do it? The Tower. The Tower, y'all. Mars. This Mars retrograde did not come to play. All right. I'm with it. I'm with it. Keep our eyes on December 17th, you all. And what comes after that. And I don't know if I stand corrected, but I certainly stand where Spirit is saying, Afefe, quit going so, putting on your little reporter cap and arming yourself with your spiritual, well, if this is what we got to do, then just find out what's coming at us so we can prepare for the fight and survive it, right? Spirit is like, there may... Pay attention to the 17th. I don't want to build it up too far and do false hopes, but trust and believe I'll be back on this channel post December 17, and we'll be going into that a little bit more. The other thing I want to look at really quickly is, I think some of us have questions. Why aren't we hearing more from Biden and Harris around misinformation, around the voting machines, around the idea that they've gotten it down. It went from them claiming that it was a landslide, took all the swing states, blah, 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 to now it was less than a 1% split, right? Like the country was literally split. Like it was right there. And if it's that close, then why are we not seeing more from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to resist this, to let us know? I've gotten a sense, and many of you have even shared in the comments, that, some things are not meant to be made public right away. Some things just need to be investigated and the steps taken behind the scenes. But let's see if, in fact, that is the case. Spirit, by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, in regards to the vote, the election, and tampering, misinformation, fraud. Are we going to hear more from them? I have the Six of Wands, so that does feel like some energy behind the scenes, you all. This is not, while on the surface it seems that we're not, we're certainly not hearing about them putting up a fight. Behind the scenes, they very well could be. We have the Nine of Cups, the Wish card, wish fulfillment. They're very aware, and the Page of Pentacles, I got it. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are extremely aware. They hear it, they know it. They know that it's almost just pure logic. Like if the odds were that tight, if the margins were that tight, then why wouldn't we investigate? Why wouldn't we go and dig into this and make sure, what was what? But that Page of Pentacles it's the beginning of something that may move slowly. And I wonder too, Spirit is saying perhaps this, whatever happens at the electoral certification situation, if that begins to blow up, that could be a catalyst for what launches. Well, no, I feel like the investigation has already been launched. Like they already have gathered intel. They know. And we know that they know. And we've been asking, well, then if you know something funky happened and it could tip the scales in the way that the majority of the populous American citizens want it to go and want Harris in office, then why don't we know about that? But then there's death. Now, I feel like this death in this sense is coming from Joe Biden. He is a Scorpio, but that Scorpio is about drilling down. It is investigation. It is deeper investigation, and it is secretive. It doesn't always show its hand. The Four of Wands. I like it. Four of Wands can be very celebratory. And a commitment to justice, a commitment to finding out the truth or releasing the truth once it's been found out. And the Hermit, making sure, being very exact. The Hermit is ruled by Virgo. It's very exact. It needs to make sure that all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, and continuing to go in search. I get it. Thank you, Spirit. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are more aware than any of us of what really happened with the voting machines, with interference from foreign interference, Russia at all. They are extremely aware. They have the intel, they have the expertise, they have information coming, but they are still gathering. This is still this Hermit energy, every I has to be dotted. But with the death as well, Scorpio, drilling down every single avenue, every single source, every single lead that they have, every single piece of information is being verified, being, gathered, fact checked, etc. So we have not heard the last from that as well. Last thing I want to look at today, you all, is we've been hearing a lot, especially with what's happened with Syria. We've got Netanyahu apparently who's gonna have to go before on trial. Feels like deja vu all over again, right? Between him and 45, like. We'll talk more about that later. We'll look at Netanyahu, but all of that said, the world stage and how tumultuous everything is right now. So the stakes have gotten even higher, certainly for Ukraine, and I am wondering if I'm asking Spirit. I've been getting, both in my research and in my own spirit, doing my personal readings on topics. While for the longest time it's been this no every time Ukraine and Zelensky talks about becoming a member, to get this war between Russia and Ukraine, call it a day, 3 years now. There's Ukraine has to have protection. Ukraine has to have the backing of other countries, period. And so I'm wondering if, in fact, that will be a pathway to ending the war. If in fact, you will have European nations and NATO come together and be willing to extend these protections to Ukraine, and thereby, of course, I'm assuming, make Ukraine a part of the NATO alliance. If that is something else, that's going to be another development. Ooh. No, that was too many that came. I thought something popped out, but that was too many cards. So, Spirit, will we see, is the path to the war ending between Ukraine and Russia? Will Ukraine receive NATO status? And will they get protection from the Western countries, from their military forces, etc.? Is that the path forward for Ukraine to end the war with Russia? Will Ukraine get the support? We have the moon. It's under consideration. There are intense worries, of course, about the future of Ukraine should it not continue to get the support that it needs worldwide. We know that Biden, in the meantime, has he's pushing as much money and resources as he can to help bolster Ukraine. We have the Ace of Pentacles. I like that. Ace of Pentacles. There's a shift that's happening, you all, and it's going to be slow. It's going to be progressive, but it feels like, yes, NATO leaders understand how high the stakes are. They've always understood it, but there was just I think there was some of them, Spirit is saying, pending the U.S. elections, that there was still a sort of a wait and see attitude. And now, because they're not spiritualists, we are. So from their perspective, oh boy is a given. He's coming in. And that has truly changed some things. And look, we've got two aces that just came back to back. We've got the Ace of Cups that comes now with that Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Cups having to do with compassion, with understanding how much Ukraine, Zelensky, and Ukrainians have sacrificed over the past 3 years to try and continue to wage a very credible war to defend themselves in this process. And so that's registered. But aces are beginnings in tarot. And between the Pentacles and the Cups, what tangibly takes place because of a sense of feeling, a sense of compassion, empathy, and also wanting protection in the region. Ukraine is very critical, to the region for Western states. Now, we did have the Eight of Swords that just decided to pop up. So there's a lot of still angst. There's going to be a lot of because I hear it. What does that mean then in terms of military support? Nobody wants to get sucked into, a potential blow up for real, with Russia, with China, blah, blah, blah. So there's still some things that need to get ironed out with that. But I am feeling, you all, that Spirit is saying there will be Two of Pentacles How do we partner? How do we join together? How do we make sure that we are able to make sure that Ukraine is protected, and yet our prospective countries are not made to be at greater risk, right? That's what this is. It's a decision. It's a balancing act. But we have Six of Wands. You all, I think that because of the U.S. election, regardless of how it ultimately turns out, this has given some on the back end of it. On the one hand, it made it look more frightening for the future of Ukraine, but on the back end of it, I think on a world and global stage, it's changed the tone, and people are like, we need Ukraine to be Ukraine. And we need to step up now more than ever and provide the support. So be very interesting to see what happens there. All right, you all. That's what I got. Take really good care. I'll check in with you all in a few days. And remember to breathe. This felt good. This felt good. I hope it felt good to you as well. Please, as always, I appreciate your comments. I just ask that they be respectful towards me and others. And we'll talk again real soon.